Hey, Kevin and Natalie, how you guys doing today?
Doing real well. How about yourself, my
Oh,
friend?
doing pretty good. So I see you guys been with us for 5 years.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good amount of time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when was the last time someone like me had come out and, service your policy with you and kind of helped you guys out?
Geez, Tony, must have been like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, great. Well, it's my job to be the expert on how your policy works.
Okay.
So what today's gonna be pretty fun.
Oh,
Basically, what
nice.
we're gonna do is start off. We're gonna get that old binder of your guys' is out. We're gonna dust her off, and we're gonna make sure as I'm going through it, because I'm gonna do a little housekeeping on there for you.
Right.
Make sure everything's organized, and basically, I'm gonna make sure you understand your policy just like the day you guys enrolled.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes what we find is maybe that policy does isn't fitting you guys the way it did.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we're gonna go ahead change beneficiaries. Maybe if you guys need that service, like I said, while we're servicing your policy, it would be like changing your beneficiaries, adding family members that maybe you guys hadn't thought of, and also maybe inflation proofing your guys's that funeral part of your policy, your whole life that you
Okay.
guys see on there. So, I mean, you guys are going to find today's going to be pretty helpful and it's going to be a great time.
Okay.
So, does that sound fair to you guys? We'll
Very.
go ahead and get started.
Okie doke.
Okay. So, Kevin and Nally, I'm looking over your guys' summary sheet. And this is your sheet that's going to basically so you guys can look at it in the future and you'll know exactly what you guys have on here.
Okay.
We fill this out, leave it in your folder, just something we do for you guys. Keeps your memory fresh if you open her up.
Got it.
Okay. So if we start here at the bottom, you remember that terminal illness rider? We
No.
mentioned it over the phone.
What is that?
Okay, so what that terminal illness rider is, God forbid, we hope it never happens. But say you or Natalie was to get a terminal illness such as maybe cancer or, I mean, like a heart condition that's almost like non-treatable almost. Something that's
Okay.
going to happen and get, in the end, it's going to cause possibly you guys to die. So what that terminal illness is this allows you to take half your whole life. See how up here it says 30,000 for you,
Hmm.
Kevin. So you'll be able to take half of that amount and use it for whatever you need to at that time.
Okay.
Because stuff happens, and that would just be a great help for you guys.
Yeah,
You guys were
definitely.
really smart
Yeah.
setting that up on there.
I didn't even know we had it. That's great.
See, and this is why we do these rules.
Yeah.
They're great,
Yeah,
man. They're
yeah.
great. So then if we come up, this is where we get into your accident policy that we talked about.
Okay.
You guys said you kind of were a little iffy on what you had, so
Yeah, yeah.
we'll go ahead and get it right through for you. So this first section here, this is your emergency accident benefits part. This is your ER benefits.
Okay.
So say you were out doing your gutters
Hmm.
and you coming down the ladder trip, your ankle twists a little bit. And you're
Oh,
thinking,
boy.
oh man, my ankle's broke. You're probably not going to work.
No.
And you're probably going to the ER if you're like me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're going to have a copay. So would you tell me earlier your copay was $25?
Well, actually, if we go to ER, believe it or not, it's $50.
Oh man, so if you're like me, $50 is $50,
Yeah, it is.
right?
It is.
And you're in the hole for those hours already that you had at work.
True.
So what this is gonna do is, if you go to the ER for any accident, this can't be like a cough,
Right,
like
right.
I'm sick thing. But like if you're going to the ER for an accident, like step on a nail, possible broken foot, that sort of thing, this is gonna pay you up to $200. But you gotta make sure you go within 72 hours.
Okay.
They just want you to do that so that way you don't put it off.
Okay. Okay.
So you're gonna get $200 for every time you go to the ER, up to $200 for every time you go to the ER for that sort of accident,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unlimited. You guys use it as many times as you want. Use it 4 times in a year. $800 money comes to your guys' pocket. That's not going insurance and stuff.
Cool.
Yep, that's awesome. You guys were smart for this one. Now the next is your hospital benefits. This is say you're confined in a hospital, staying overnight for something. Maybe you had to go down and get some milk. I see your wife. She bakes cookies. She was
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it earlier with us.
Yeah, yeah.
So say you're going down to get that milk. Somebody driving crazy T-bones you, and you end up in the hospital for 10 days. Well, you're in the hospital 10 days. Bills don't stop,
No.
and you're in the hospital. You're not getting that paycheck coming from work.
No.
So what this is going to do is for every day that you're confined in that hospital, it's going to pay you $400 for up to 365 days per occurrence.
Wow.
Now that per occurrence is really important because say you get out in that 10 days and a month later, something else happens that you end up back, put in the hospital again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to restart again. You're going to have that $400 for 365 days.
Nice.
Yep. So what that is that 10 days you're in there, we'll go back to that. That would be $4,000 coming to you and Nally in a check, not to your doctors, not to your insurance. That's for you guys to use that money for whatever you need it for at that time.
Nice. That would be very helpful.
Oh yeah, I mean you can see it's a great part you guys had on, and like I said, real smart you guys had this added.
Okay.
Now the next is your ICU. This is say the accident was worse and you got put in intensive care. It's going to pay you up to $800 a day for up to 14 days. The reason they cap it at 14 days is I'm sure you guys know if you're in there more than 14 days, it ain't looking the
No,
best.
probably not.
But people bounce back. It happens. So what that is, it's gonna pay you 800 for those 14 days. Well, you guys don't lose it after 14 days if you're still in the hospital. It just reverts back to that $400 for up to 365 days for for recurrence again.
Nice.
Yep. I mean, you guys are really smart for getting this. That's a big family help. And then if we go up, this is your AD&D portion of your your accident policy. And what that is this one here is accidental death. This is
Okay.
any accidental death on off the job, up cleaning the gutters. We hope it never happens, but say it did, and you passed away in an accident. This is going to pay you $40,000 if something was to happen to Nally, and Nally, this is going to pay you $40,000 if something was to happen to Kevin.
Okay.
I mean, that money in that time is going to be a big help.
For sure.
Now, what's the most dangerous thing we do every day?
Well, for me, it's shaving, but we're getting out of bed. But I'd say driving.
Oh yeah, New York drivers, they can be
Well,
up there.
thanks a lot. You saying that just because you're from Pennsylvania?
Never know. It works out that way sometimes. I'm originally from New York.
Ah, okay.
But what this is for any personal automotive death. Say, like not a work vehicle, but like you could be sleeping in the back of your friend's car on a trip, for vacation. You guys could be on vacation, at fault, not at fault. This is gonna pay you guys $80,000 to you, Nally, if something happens to Kevin, and $80,000 to you, Kevin, if something happens to Nally.
Nice.
I mean, right there, if something happened to both of you, that's your beneficiary is gonna receive $160,000.
Nice.
It's another big help because like we said, drivers in New York.
Oh yeah.
So the next section here, this is your common carrier. Anything you're gonna pay a fare, taxi, Uber, plane, bus. There's always one that I miss. A train. A
Yeah,
train.
trains
A lot of
could
people
work
don't
there,
think
yeah.
about trains anymore. Well, any common carrier death, like if you were to pass away on one of those, it's going to pay you, Nally, $200,000, and you, Kevin, $200,000, vice versa, if anything was to ever happen to you guys.
Okay.
So that section right there, like we said, you guys are smart. You guys
Good,
make
I'm
sure
glad
you
we
guys
have
got
that.
taken care of. And now the next section we're going to come up to, this is your whole life section.
Okay.
Now, let me ask, have you or Nally, Kevin, ever been on the financial side of planning a funeral?
Well, I mean, thank God, no. So.
Oh, okay. So funerals are getting pretty expensive.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
heard of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it go on around me. We just haven't personally been involved.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know the average funeral right now is around $14,000 to $15,000, and most families don't know how funerals are being handled by life insurance anymore. Used to be if you had $100,000 policy, and okay, we're gonna take Kevin out on this one. Say something was to happen to Kevin, Nally, and what you would do is on the worst day of your life, you would have to go down to that funeral home, and if you had that $100,000 policy, you could set it down on the table, and it would serve as collateral, and you'd walk out of there that same day. But it doesn't work that way anymore. Life insurance used to have only 24 days to pay on claims, and they went and they had their talk with the government, and now they have up to 60 days. I'm sure Natalie and Kevin, you guys can figure out why they hold on to that money for that.
You're just probably trying to make money off my money.
It's interest. They're holding on to that money and they're getting that interest build up. And it's what it's causing is families like you guys. You guys are getting burdened with that cost of that funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing that's also going on is there's a company out of Texas. They're called Service Corp International. I don't know if you guys ever seen anything for SCI,
No.
but they're actually going around and they're buying cremation centers, funeral homes, and cemeteries. And the reason they're doing that is because they want to be like, as weird as it sounds, the Walmart of the funeral industry.
Mm.
And it is a big industry. Now, we only bring that up really because their corporate policy is they want 50% down for those funerals
Oh Lord.
right there. Now, I don't know about your guys' financial situation, but most families I sit down with, they do not have $7,000
We certainly
lying,
don't. No,
lying
no.
around for a funeral. And those that do, they don't want to have to use that money at that time.
Right, right.
So that's why they came up with this. This is called the Freedom of Choice Certificate. And okay, we're going to use Kevin as an example again. So now I'm going to have you hold on to that. Yep, and go ahead and flip it over. So what you would do is on the worst day of your life, now, like worst day of your life, you would be able to go down to that funeral home and you bring this certificate with you. And what you would do is walk in, you would be talking to that funeral arranger, going over everything, looking at the urns, looking at the caskets. And then when you're done and you have everything negotiated that you want to have done for Kevin, you would take the certificate to the funeral director, turn it over. You guys had that amount all set up. You would fill out the amount, fill out the date, all the arrangements you have set up, sign it, date it, and walk out of there without not one out-of-pocket cost. And what that's going to do is, on the worst day of your life, it's going to help you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason is that you're going to walk out of there is as long as you keep Kevin's funeral under that 30,000 and Kevin, you keep Natalie's funeral under that 15,000 that we have down here.
Okay.
That's going to be able to be the amount you guys have available. Now, when you do leave, that funeral director, he's going to call our number here on the front. He's going to get our corporate office.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have two questions for our office. One, he's going to say, are you guys enrolled? Obviously, yes. You guys are already enrolled.
Okay.
The second question he's going to ask is, how much are they enrolled for?
Oh.
Now, if we were to tell him that, Kevin had $30,000, how much do you think that funeral is going to magically turn into?
Yeah, like probably 31, 32.
Exactly. So, and it would be the same if now you went down and told them the same.
Yeah.
So, it shouldn't work that way, and we don't let it work that way.
Okay.
So what we ask is you guys never tell them that amount, and we will never tell them that amount.
Okay.
What's going to happen is there's going to be two checks cut. One, say Kevin's funeral was $14,000. So now they're going to send that one check to that funeral home for that $14,000. That's all taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And that remaining $16,000 is going to come right to you to help you, through the worst part of your entire life. And you're going to be able to know that everything was taken care of. It's kind of like a prearrangement.
Yeah.
You guys have heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, prearrangements, the aspect of them is great. But the difference is this is permanent and portable. And Kevin, you were saying you like warm weather. So if you guys were to ever move to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
you guys can use this in any funeral home in the US or Canada.
Okay.
So, you go, and the thing with prearrangements is you're locked into that funeral home that you've been paying into. And they can get kind of expensive. Sometimes they're $100 just for each one of you a month. And you're only having the amount you guys paid in as long as that funeral home is still open.
Right, right.
Now, like I said, this is just like a prearrangement. So you guys were really, really smart for having this.
Mm-hmm.
Really smart. Now, the only gap that I can see on this entire paper, you guys did amazing with how you guys got covered when you started.
Thank you.
Now, the only
I think
gap
it was the agent. You're giving us too much credit, so.
Well, you never know. Some people, they're pretty smart with this stuff. Now, the only gap I can see is, Kevin, you have 30,000, but Nally, you have 15,000 down there. Now, what we would recommend is to get that number up to about 30,000 because, with inflation, the price of funerals is going up.
Yeah, that's true. It's not
It really
going to go
is. And what we would do is, I have it all figured out, and it's going to only be about $30 more a month. So we can go ahead and get that taken care of for you guys today.
down. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, let's get started.